move kundalini and energy through it, the body starts to shed itself and you become identified with this hologram that's larger than you, that can really be any size. You start to merge with the universe. So then as a facilitator, how do you approach a person having this experience? Whether their kundalini motion will change. It will change, which means you've made contact with them. You've made contact with them by doing the two things, focusing on where they are here and focusing out and feeling inside your body. Because you feel inside your body, because what you're recognizing is that you are inside the hologram that they are projecting. You're inside of them. It's almost like you're waking up inside their brain. And so this is how we safely address somebody that's having this experience. Hey, I just heard a story, kind of a sad story, about a person who was in a facilitated psychedelic mushroom experience and was having some kind of first exposure to this big energetic thing that comes through you, where coming out of the small container that you are in your body and experiencing yourself as big and that getting into that non-dual state, and then in that state feeling something, some other intelligence come through you, and how that feels. And I don't want to expose too much or to reveal too many of the details for privacy's sake. But needless to say, the facilitators, in an effort to, I guess, I wasn't there, but in an effort to maintain, safety and not disturb some of the other participants, opted to ground the participant in a way that was boundary crossing. There wasn't consent, and it in the end, to me, it just reminds me of how many times I had done this as well, and there was really what it comes down to for me, assuming that everybody had the best intentions and an open heart. It comes down to not understanding the mechanics of the experience when you are this person on the floor, high on mushrooms or in some kind of non-dual state. That boundary crossing can be done from across the room in how you're looking at them. What does that mean? And I'm going to come back to that in a second. But basically, it sounds like the facilitators came over and put their hands on the participant, and it felt too close. There was no consent that had been asked for. But even had there been consent, I don't think that that's necessarily the right approach to start with, because this person here, inside their experience, is their boundaries are here, 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 and all the way through here. So then what's happening is, I don't even know if you can see this with this light here. Sorry about that. I ordered the wrong size dry erase thing. They're ultra fine tips, and I need to have ultra and not fine tips, big fatties. That's what I need. Okay, so this is a way oversimplification, but notice there's a geometry here. And this geometry is just like a golfer. You're triangulating in space, right? There's a ball that needs to go in the hole over there, or a piece of paper that needs to go in the trash can over there. Any time that you need to really feel the distance between you and a distant object, your nervous system actually starts to triangulate where the object is and then establish an oscillation inside, so it can feel itself as this big hologram. Okay, so what point am I making with the body being able to track a golf ball hole over there, or a badminton thing over there, or a trash can over there? The body actually starts to project its boundaries. When you come into the experience as a more dualistic self, your boundaries are here in the body. And so that's what we learn to respect. You're over there, I'm over here. But there's a new boundary situation as you move into the non-dual state. That creates a far more porous and oftentimes much larger boundary, as if you were a person floating in the middle of a blimp, and your blimp now becomes your boundary. Well, the nervous system actually projects itself and feels everything in the blimp space. This is the empathic experience. Whenever whether you identify as a highly sensitive person or an empath, you are picking up information from within the boundaries, which is why the mushroom experience is so powerful, because you can really merge with the collective. But there's also a much greater responsibility put in the laps of the facilitator to not just hold space here, but to hold space there, knowing. So she was lying there on the floor, feeling herself as this great big hologram way out here. So then when you have somebody step into the hologram, you're basically stepping inside of them, and they can feel everything inside of you because they are here. So then stepping inside, even with the intention of touching them safely, they can feel your concern, they can feel your fear, they can feel your intention, and they can also feel your blindness to the fact that they're this big. So that's the problem, is just an understandable ignorance, because in our culture, we are ignorant to the fact that our nervous system does particular things, oscillates in particular ways to shed the skin, shed the body, and come out and become empathic, become field-centric, not subject-centric, but field-centric. So we can feel a lot more things that are within our boundaries. And this is, well, it can be really painful and damaging. It can be damaging, as we know, with boundary crossings. Many people, like empaths or people on the neurodivergent spectrum that may be out here, have this as a lived experience. So they're feeling everything in this container. And so then how do we go about saying hello to this person that's this person? Well, you can do it from space. If you've seen me work on Zoom. Everybody, but are you able to stay connected to the energy moving through you and say words at the same time?
Like what kind of words?
Like just like those, yes. What's your sensation on the inside? If you can put
like
words
a
to it.
big stretch and
Like this non-dual space can be anywhere in the planet. So it isn't just explained by saying that the heart has a 6 foot or a 10 foot or a 20 meter energetic ring around it. I think that leads us down a confused pathway as well. But to recognize that this energetic ring and the body, as it starts to move kundalini and energy through it, the body starts to shed itself and you become identified with this hologram that's larger than you, that can really be any size. You start to merge with the universe. So then as a facilitator, how do you approach a person having this experience, whether or not they're on psychedelics or they're just having this experience? One of the best ways that I have found that people have been able to address me when I'm feeling hugely vulnerable or hugely open, they're doing something from a distance, and you can feel it. They're feeling me from a distance, but they're feeling how big I am. So they're not just looking here in my body, but they're looking out here. So that's step one, is how big are they? So if you're a facilitator front looking at somebody having a kundalini awakening or activation and it seems kind of violent, one of the first ways that you want to address them from across the room is just recognize that your body is already aiming at them. Just like I know there's a window on that side of this space I'm sitting in right now, and my body already can feel it's about 26 feet that way. And if I took this pen and I'm still looking at you and I wanted to throw it, that's exactly where I would throw it. So how do I know that? Because my body and nervous system builds these holograms to produce a replica of where I'm sitting internally. And so when you're looking at this person that's having this event, you recognize that part of you is aiming at them. So recognize that part of you is aiming at them, that their actual person sack that's on the floor. Let that be there. But now, in addition to that, feeling out in space, almost like you're looking for a missing golf ball hole. And just do it deliberately. Go up, go down, go above their head, go down below their feet, go way down into the ground. And you want to do it slowly enough while you're watching this person, right? So you're doing two things with your focus. One is watching this person here, and the other is going out and around. Almost like this person is a movie projector. And when you find the distance that this movie projector person is focused on, their kundalini motion will change. It will change, which means you've made contact with them. You've made contact with them by doing the two things, focusing on where they are here and focusing out and feeling inside your body. Because you feel inside your body, because what you're recognizing is that you are inside the hologram that they are projecting. You're inside of them. It's almost like you're waking up inside their brain. And so this is how we safely address somebody that's having this experience. Out into them, into you. You're watching for that energy response to shift. And ideally, there's a big spontaneous breath that comes through. I think that's the second thing. Well, first, as you look, second, you watch for them to show signs that they're actually seeing themselves be witnessed by you. And then the third thing is, how can you hold that container that you're finding them in? Hold it in such a way, lightly with your attention. Feel breath come through you. And you're watching for a spontaneous breath, like a spontaneous slow motion yawn. It's a cousin to the yawn, but it's a slow motion yawn that comes through them. You're not transmitting it from you to them. You're holding a prism, a sacred geometry prism that allows them to see themselves and actually allows this bigger spirit self of theirs to see them and find them and breathe them. And in that slow motion breath, they can find themselves in safety and contentment. And you as a facilitator or a supporter or a lover, you don't even have to walk across the room now because you're already inside of them. Thanks for hanging out.